Welcome to the Liminal Hour. Tonight we have a special story. What if the future of humanity can only continue by violating the most fundamental principles of consent, autonomy, and truth? Are they still worth saving? The Second Coming. Claire, the dying field. The wheat is the color of bone. Claire stands in the field with her hands at her sides. 17 years of life pressed into a body that knows hunger the way other bodies know breathing. Constant, invisible, the baseline hum of existence. The sun has been merciless for 40 days. The river that fed this land has shrunk to a trickle, then a memory, then nothing at all. And the wheat, which should be golden and heavy with grain, stands brittle and pale, waiting to become dust. Here is what Claire has. A father named Thomas, whose hands are cracked and bleeding from work that yields nothing. A mother named Agnes, whose eyes see only darkness, who carries a third child in a belly that should not be swelling when there is no food to feed the children already born. A brother named Ewan, 8 years old, whose cough sounds like something tearing, whose ribs she can count through his shirt, whose body is giving up in the slow way that bodies give up when they are not given enough to live on. A house, if you can call it that, 4 walls, a roof that leaks, a hearth that holds whatever fire they can coax from whatever wood they can find. A table with 4 stools, a pot for cooking when there is something to cook, a cross on the wall carved by her grandfather, worn smooth by generations of desperate hands. A faith. This is the thing that holds everything else together. The belief that God sees them, loves them, has a plan for them. The belief that suffering is temporary, that heaven is real, that the meek shall inherit the earth, even if the earth is cracked and barren and yielding nothing but death. Here is what Claire does not have. Enough. She has never had enough. None of them have. But lately, the not enough has become something sharper, something with teeth. Her mother cannot eat without vomiting. Her brother cannot walk without stopping to gasp for air. Her father works from dawn until dark and comes home with nothing. Last night, Claire heard her parents talking through the thin wall. Her mother's voice, steady despite everything. If the child comes and we cannot feed it, we must give it to God. We must trust that He knows better than we do. Her father's voice, breaking. What kind of God asks us to choose which of our children to let die? Claire did not hear her mother's answer. She pressed her face into her thin blanket and prayed. Not for food, not for rain, but for understanding, for some sign that the suffering meant something, that they were not simply forgotten, abandoned, left to wither like the wheat in the field. She is still praying when the sky splits open. Phoenix, log entry 001. Mission date, day 1 of contact location. Northwestern Europe, circa 1348 CE operative. Phoenix 7, Temporal Retrieval Division. I have located a suitable candidate. The family matches our criteria: isolated, impoverished, devout. The target is 17 years old, recently menstruant, no apparent genetic abnormalities. Medical scans confirm viable reproductive capacity. Psychological profile suggests high compliance and strong faith-based framework. Ideal for the cover narrative. The father is malnourished but functional. The mother is blind, cataracts, easily correctable with basic nanotherapy. The male child shows signs of advanced tuberculosis. Without intervention, estimated survival is 4 to 6 weeks. These conditions are useful. I will present as a divine messenger. The technology gap is sufficient, approximately 7 centuries of advancement, that any demonstration will register as miraculous. Clarke's third law in practice. Note to archive. I am aware of the ethical implications. I am proceeding anyway. The ends. Pause recording. Resume. The ends justify the means. That's what we tell ourselves. That's what the council told me when they selected me for this mission. You are saving humanity, Phoenix. You are ensuring our survival. Whatever you must do, whatever lies you must tell, whatever consent you must manufacture, it is worth it. It must be worth it. I wonder if the beings who created the sterility virus told themselves the same thing. I wonder if they had councils and committees and ethical review boards, all of them concluding that the eradication of humanity was worth it, that whatever we were, whatever we might have become, it was acceptable to end us. They didn't even fight us. That's what haunts me. They didn't invade, didn't conquer, didn't enslave. They simply looked at us and decided we were not worth the effort of direct engagement. They engineered a virus that rendered every human female born after 2847 permanently infertile, and then they left. They moved on to whatever else occupied their incomprehensible attention, and we were left to watch our species die in slow motion. No more daughters, no more mothers, no more future, until someone suggested going back. End log. Claire, the visitation. The light is not like sunlight. Claire shields her eyes, but she cannot look away. The sky has opened, not parted, not cleared, but opened, as if the blue fabric of heaven itself has been torn aside to reveal something beyond. And through that opening descends a vessel unlike anything she has ever seen, silver and seamless, shaped like a teardrop, moving without wings or wind. Her father drops his hoe. Her mother turns toward the sound, blind eyes wide and searching. Ewan, who was sitting in the shade trying not to cough, stumbles to his feet and stares. "What is it?" Agnes asks. Her hand finds Claire's shoulder, grips tight. "What do you see?" "I don't know, Mama, I don't." The vessel touches the ground. No sound, no impact. It simply arrives, as if the earth had been waiting for it. And then the door opens, and he steps out. He is beautiful. That is Claire's first thought. And she immediately feels ashamed of it. To look upon a divine being and think of beauty, as if he were a man, as if he were something her eyes had the right to judge. But she cannot help it. He is tall and robed in white, and his face is serene, and he moves across the cracked earth as if he weighs nothing at all. "Be not afraid," he says. His voice is like music, like water, like every good thing Claire has ever experienced, distilled into sound. Her father falls to his knees, then her mother, then Ewan, coughing even as he kneels. Claire remains standing. She doesn't mean to. Her legs simply won't bend. She stares at the being, at his smooth skin and calm eyes, and something in her chest is beating so hard it hurts. "Who are you?" she whispers. The being smiles. "I am a messenger of God," he says, "and I have come for you, Claire." Phoenix, log entry 002. Mission date, day 1, hour 3. The demonstration phase is complete. I touched the mother first. The nanobots entered through her skin. She would have felt nothing but warmth, perhaps a slight tingling. Within seconds, they began repairing her optical nerves, dissolving the cataracts, rebuilding what time and malnutrition had destroyed. When she opened her eyes and saw her daughter's face for the first time in 7 years, she wept. The father wept too. He kept saying, thank you, Lord, thank you, not to me, but to the sky, to the God he believes sent me. I let him believe it. That is, after all, the point. The boy was more complicated. Tuberculosis has colonized approximately 40% of his lung tissue. The nanobots will need 3 to 4 hours to fully repair the damage. But I accelerated the visible symptoms, increased his oxygen absorption, flushed the blood from his complexion, gave him the appearance of health immediately. He stood up straight. He breathed without coughing. His father embraced him and called it a miracle. It is not a miracle. It is engineering. But what is the difference, really, if a thing is indistinguishable from magic? Does it matter that it isn't? If a lie produces the same outcome as truth, does the lie become true? I am asking questions I do not want to answer. The food was simple matter manipulation, reorganizing ambient molecules into recognizable forms. Bread, fruit, meat. I materialized enough to last them months. The mother kept touching it, as if she expected it to disappear, to reveal itself as illusion. It did not. It was real. Atoms are atoms. It doesn't matter if they were wheat an hour ago or air. Everything I have given them is real. Only the explanation is false. I told them Claire has been chosen, that heaven requires her presence, that she will live in paradise, and in exchange, the family will be provided for food, health, prosperity for the rest of their lives. The father asked if she would be safe. I said yes. The mother asked if they would see her again. I said, in the next life, you will be reunited, and she will have borne God's child, and you will be blessed above all families on earth. They believed me. Why wouldn't they? I healed their son. I gave sight to the blind. I created food from nothing. By every metric they possess, I am exactly what I claim to be. The girl is looking at me strangely, not with fear, with something else. Recognition, perhaps, though she has no framework for what she's recognizing. She almost asked the right question. She didn't. End log. Claire, the farewell. You are certain, her father asks. He is speaking to the messenger, but he is looking at Claire. His eyes are wet. His hands are shaking. He has not let go of her arm since the messenger made his request. I am certain, the messenger says. Claire has been chosen. Her soul is pure, her faith is strong, and God has great plans for her. But she is, her father's voice cracks. She is my daughter, my only daughter. How can I? Thomas. Her mother's voice is steady. Agnes stands with her newly seeing eyes fixed on Claire, drinking in every detail of her face, and Claire realizes she is memorizing me. She is looking at me for the first time in 7 years, and she knows it might be the last. Thomas, Agnes says again, if God has called her, we cannot refuse. But look at Ewan. Agnes gestures to the boy, who is standing straight, breathing easily, color in his cheeks for the first time in months. Look at the food. Look at me, Thomas. I can see. I can see our children's faces. Would a false messenger give us such gifts? Her father is silent. Claire watches his face and sees the war happening there. Faith against fear, hope against grief. The desperate desire to believe that this is real, that the suffering has meaning, that God has finally answered their prayers. Claire, he turns to her. Is this what you want? Want? What does she want? She wants her family to survive. She wants her mother to keep seeing, her brother to keep breathing, her father to stop looking like a man who has already lost everything. She wants the new baby to be born into a house with food, with warmth, with hope. If going to heaven is the price for all of that, if her life is what God requires, then yes, she wants this. It is, she says. Her father pulls her into his arms. He holds her so tightly she cannot breathe, and she feels his body shaking with sobs he is trying to suppress. He smells like sweat and earth and the particular musk of a man who has worked himself to bone for a family he cannot save. My girl, he whispers, my brave, beautiful girl. It will be all right, Papa. She doesn't know if this is true. She says it anyway. You will see me again. In heaven, we will all be together. I know. He releases her, wipes his eyes, tries to compose himself. I know. I will miss you. Every day, every moment. Her mother approaches. Agnes cups Claire's face in her hands that have touched her 1,000 times, but never like this. Never with eyes that can finally see what they are touching. You look like my mother, Agnes says softly. I never knew. I couldn't see it before, but you have her jaw, her brow. You carry her with you. Mama. Shh. Agnes pulls her close, holds her head against her shoulder. I am not saying goodbye. There is no goodbye between mothers and daughters. There is only until I see you again. Until we are together in God's kingdom. Until. Ewan is last. He stands before her. This boy she has cared for since he was born, whose body has finally stopped betraying him. He looks healthy, strong, alive. Will there be horses in heaven, he asks. Claire laughs, though it sounds more like crying. I don't know. I'll find out for you. Tell God I want a black one, with a white star on its forehead. I will. She embraces him. He is warm in her arms, solid, present. Not the fragile thing he was this morning, coughing blood into rags, slipping away inch by inch. This is a boy who will grow into a man, who will marry and have children, who will live a full life. Because of me, Claire thinks, because I am doing this. The messenger waits by his vessel. His face is patient, serene. He does not rush them. He gives them all the time they need. And then there is no more time. Claire walks toward him. Each step takes her further from everything she has ever known. The dying fields, the leaking house, the hunger that has been her constant companion. Each step takes her closer to heaven. She does not look back. She is afraid that if she looks back, she will not be able to go forward. The vessel swallows her in light. Phoenix, log entry, 003, mission date, day 1, hour 6. She is aboard. We are in transit. The jump will take approximately 14 hours subjective time. I have sedated her lightly, explained it as a holy sleep required for the journey through the celestial spheres. She accepted this without question. Her faith is formidable. I find myself wishing it were not. A skeptic would be easier. Someone who questioned, who pushed back, who forced me to justify my deceptions. Instead, I have a girl who looks at everything I do with wonder, who thanks God for each new marvel, who sees evidence of divine love in every manipulation. The family's reaction was within expected parameters. The father's grief was acute, but ultimately overridden by his belief in the narrative. The mother's acceptance was faster. She had already been preparing to sacrifice a child. I simply redirected the sacrifice. The brother is too young and too recently healed to fully process the loss. They will be provided for. This, at least, is not a lie. I left behind a cache of supplies with regenerative properties, enough food to last years, seeds engineered to grow in drought conditions, medical nanobots dormant in the water supply that will activate if anyone in the household falls ill. By the standards of their time, they will be wealthy beyond imagination. The girl purchased this for them with her body, her freedom, her entire future. She does not know this. She believes she is ascending to paradise. I keep thinking about the aliens, the ones who ended us. I keep wondering what they saw when they looked at humanity. What flaw, what threat, what insufficiency justified our eradication? Were we too violent, too expansionist, too likely to become someday a rival? Or were we simply there, occupying space they wanted, consuming resources they coveted, existing in a universe they had decided belonged only to them? We will never know. They left no explanation. They simply engineered our end and moved on. And now I'm doing the same thing, not ending a species, saving one. But the methodology is identical. I am manipulating beings who cannot comprehend my true nature, using technology that appears magical, making decisions about their lives and bodies without their informed consent. The ends justify the means, do they? End log. Claire. Paradise. Heaven is nothing like the priest described. Claire wakes in a room filled with light. Not candlelight, not sunlight, but something softer, steadier, emanating from the walls themselves. The air is warm and carries a scent she cannot identify. Clean, fresh, like the world after rain but without the wet. She sits up. She is lying on something impossibly soft. Not straw, not wool, not any material she recognizes. She presses her hand into it and watches it give beneath her fingers, then slowly return to its original shape. Clouds, she thinks. I am sleeping on clouds. She explores. The room has no door, but when she approaches the wall, it simply opens, parting like a curtain made of light. Beyond it is a corridor, equally bright, equally warm. She follows it. She finds water that falls from the ceiling, hot and endless. She stands beneath it until her skin wrinkles, until every trace of dirt and sweat and the field has been washed away. She has never been this clean. She did not know it was possible to be this clean. She finds food, not the rough bread and thin porridge of home, but things she has no names for. Fruits and colors she's never seen. Meat that melts on her tongue. Sweets that taste like joy itself. Like every happy moment she's ever experienced distilled into flavor. She finds clothes, soft as spider silk, white as fresh snow, cut in styles that seem both ancient and impossible. She dresses herself and barely recognizes the girl in the reflective wall. That girl looks healthy, fed, clean. That girl looks like she belongs here. Do you find everything to your liking? Claire turns. The messenger, Phoenix, he said to call him Phoenix, stands at the end of the corridor. He is still beautiful, but here, in heaven, he looks different. More human, less radiant. It is... She struggles for words. It is more than I ever imagined. This is only the beginning. He smiles, and the smile is kind. And Claire feels something ease in her chest. You will want for nothing here, Claire. No hunger, no cold, no sickness, no death. Is this truly heaven? A pause. So brief she almost misses it. This is where you will live now. This is where you will be cared for. Is that not heavenly? He did not answer the question, some part of her notices. But the noticing is drowned out by the warmth, the fullness in her belly, the overwhelming gratitude of a body that has never known comfort discovering what comfort means. Yes, she says, it is. Phoenix. Log entry. 007. Mission date, day 14. The acclimation period is proceeding well. Claire has adapted remarkably to her new environment. Initial disorientation was minimal. She interprets all unfamiliar technology through her existing religious framework, which provides convenient explanations for everything she encounters. Automated doors become walls that part at God's command. Temperature regulation becomes the warmth of divine love. Synthetic food becomes manna from heaven. She is building a mythology around her captivity. I use that word deliberately. Captivity, because that is what this is. Regardless of how comfortable the cage, she cannot leave. She does not know where she is. She has no means of contacting her family, no way of returning home, no choice in any of what is happening to her. But she does not feel captive. That is the cruelty of it. She feels blessed, chosen, elevated. I have taken everything from her and convinced her it is a gift. The medical examinations are complete. I frame them as rituals of purification, necessary preparations for her sacred purpose. She submitted to the blood draws, the genetic sequencing, the fertility assessments, with perfect trust. She even thanked me afterward. Her reproductive system is healthy. No signs of damage from malnutrition. Remarkable, given her history. The pre-virus genetic markers are all present and viable. She is, from a biological standpoint, exactly what we need. She is the future of our species. She is a 17-year-old girl who does not know she has been abducted. I find myself talking to her more than is strictly necessary, explaining things, not the truth, never the truth, but adjacent things. I told her about the stars today. She did not know they were suns. She thought they were candles lit by angels. When I explained that each one was a fire larger than she could comprehend, burning at distances her mind could not fathom, she looked at me with such wonder. God's creation is so vast, she said. How small we must seem to him. How small. Yes, end log. Claire, the purpose. Why was I chosen? She has been in heaven for 20 days, or what she believes are days. The light never changes, and she has lost track of the rhythms that used to structure her life. But she has been counting meals, and she has eaten 60 meals, and she assumes that means 20 days. 20 days of warmth and food and the strange, soft loneliness of being the only human in paradise. Phoenix considers her question. They are sitting in a room with a great window that looks out onto stars. Thousands of them, millions. More stars than Claire knew existed. She has spent hours staring at that window, trying to comprehend what she is seeing. You were chosen, Phoenix says slowly, because you are pure, because your faith is strong, because God requires something of you that only you can provide. What does he require? Another pause. Phoenix looks at her, and for a moment, just a moment, she sees something in his eyes that looks like pain. Then it's gone, and he is serene again, and she wonders if she imagined it. A child, he says? You have been chosen to bear the child of God. Claire's heart stops, then starts again, faster, harder. The child of, like the Virgin Mary? Yes, Phoenix's voice is gentle. Like Mary, you will carry the second coming, the salvation of all mankind. Through you, humanity will be reborn. She should be afraid. She thinks she should be afraid, but the fear doesn't come. Instead, there is a strange, fierce joy. The joy of purpose, of finally understanding why she has been brought here, why she has been given so much, why God would pluck one starving girl from a dying field and place her in paradise. She is meant for this. She has always been meant for this. When, she asks. Soon, there are more preparations to complete, but soon. And the child, will I raise him? Will I be his mother? You will be the most important mother in human history. Phoenix reaches out, takes her hand. His skin is warm, and he feels human. And Claire realizes that she has been waiting for him to touch her, has been longing for contact with another person in this beautiful, empty place. I am ready, she says. Whenever God wills it, I am ready. Phoenix nods. He releases her hand. He does not meet her eyes. Phoenix. Log entry 12. Mission date. Day 27. The insemination will take place tomorrow. I have explained the procedure as a sacred ritual, the divine essence entering her womb while she sleeps, conceiving the child without physical violation. This is technically true. The artificial insemination process is painless and will occur while she is sedated. She will wake believing she has been touched by God. She will never know what actually happened. The genetic material has been prepared, half from her, half from the collective repository, the combined DNA of humanity's last generation, optimized for viability, designed to maximize the chances of a healthy pregnancy. The child will not be mine, biologically speaking. It will be ours, the child of a dying species, created from the fragments we managed to save. Claire does not know any of this. Claire believes she is carrying the Son of God. I have been reviewing the ethical frameworks that were meant to guide this mission: consent, autonomy, dignity. Every principle we claim to value, every right we insisted to find our humanity, I am violating all of them. But what is the alternative? The virus was perfect, engineered by an intelligence so far beyond ours that we couldn't even comprehend how it worked, let alone develop a countermeasure. We tried everything. Cloning, the clones were sterile. Artificial wombs, the virus adapted, corrupted the process. Gene therapy, the virus was always one step ahead, anticipating every solution before we conceived it. The only thing we couldn't try was prevention. Couldn't go back and stop the aliens from releasing the virus. Temporal mechanics don't work that way. You can't change your own past, can't prevent the event that caused you to attempt prevention. But you can go further back, before the virus, before the contamination, to a time when human females were still fertile, still capable of carrying children, still able to do the one thing that our future selves could not. That is why Claire is here. Not because she is special, not because God chose her, because she was born in the right time, in the right circumstances, with the right reproductive capacity. She is a vessel. She does not know she is a vessel. Tomorrow I will complete the procedure. Tomorrow she will believe herself blessed above all women. Tomorrow the future of humanity will begin growing in the womb of a girl who thinks she is carrying the Christ child. The ends justify the means. The ends have to justify the means. Because if they don't, if this is simply monstrous, simply wrong, simply the crime it appears to be, then I am not a savior. I am just another version of the beings who destroyed us. End log. Claire, The conception. The ritual is beautiful. Claire lies on a bed softer than anything she has ever touched, in a room filled with warm light and the scent of flowers she cannot name. Phoenix stands beside her, dressed in white, speaking words in a language she does not understand but which sounds like prayer. "Close your eyes," he says. "Let the divine presence fill you." She closes her eyes. She thinks of Mary, young Mary, frightened Mary, told by an angel that she would bear the Son of God. Did Mary feel this way? This strange mixture of terror and honor, this sense of being lifted out of her ordinary life and placed at the center of something vast. "Be not afraid," the angel told Mary. "Be not afraid," Claire tells herself. She feels warmth spreading through her belly, a tingling like sunlight on skin, but deeper. Something is happening, something she cannot see or understand, something holy, something beyond her comprehension. "It is done," Phoenix says. Claire opens her eyes. She feels different, not in any way she can articulate, but she knows with a certainty that bypasses thought entirely, that she is no longer alone in her body. "The child," she whispers, "has begun." Claire places her hand on her belly. There is nothing to feel yet. It is too early for movement, too soon for any physical sign, but she knows. She knows. "Thank you," she says to Phoenix. "Thank you for choosing me." Phoenix looks at her. His face is unreadable. "Rest now," he says. "You have a long journey ahead." He turns and leaves. Claire lies in the warm light, her hand on her belly, and she prays, not for herself, but for the child, for the world that will receive him, for the salvation that she is carrying here, inside her, in this body that was once starving and is now the most important vessel in all of creation. She has never been so happy. She falls asleep smiling. Phoenix, final log entry. Mission date, day 28. Status, phase 1, complete. It is done. The embryo has implanted successfully. Preliminary scans show normal cell division. If all proceeds according to projections, Claire will give birth in approximately 9 months to a healthy child, the first human born with pre-virus genetics in over 2 centuries. She will not be the last. There are other missions, other operatives, other Claires scattered across the timeline. Girls and women chosen for their fertility, extracted from their lives, convinced through various means to carry children they did not choose to conceive. The Council estimates we need at least 50 viable births to establish a genetically diverse breeding population. 50 women, 50 deceptions, 50 violations of consent. Claire asked me today if she would see her family again. I told her what I always tell her, in the next life. She accepted this. She has accepted everything I've told her. That is the part I cannot forgive myself for. Not the deception, though the deception is monstrous. Not the violation, though the violation is real. But the trust, the perfect, unwavering trust she places in me, in this narrative I have constructed, in the God I am pretending to serve. She believes she is blessed. She believes her sacrifice has meaning. She believes she is participating in something sacred. And perhaps she is. Perhaps meaning is not diminished by false premises. Perhaps the child she carries is sacred, regardless of how it was conceived. I keep returning to Machiavelli. The ends justify the means. It is the philosophy of tyrants, of conquerors, of men who commit atrocities, and sleep soundly because they believe in the righteousness of their purpose. I am one of those men now. But consider the alternative. If I hadn't done this, if we had not developed this technology, had not sent operatives back through time, had not deceived and manipulated and violated, humanity would end. Not in fire, not in war, but in silence. The last generation aging, dying, leaving behind empty cities and crumbling monuments, and no one to remember that we ever existed at all. Is that better? Is it more moral to let a species die with clean hands than to save it with dirty ones? I do not know. I have thought about this question every day since I began this mission, and I am no closer to an answer.
What I know is this. Claire is pregnant. The child is viable. Humanity will continue. And Claire will live out her days believing she has borne the Son of God, raised in a paradise she cannot leave, cared for by beings she believes are angels. She will never know the truth. She will never have the chance to feel betrayed or violated or used. She will die happy, convinced of her own holiness. Is that mercy, or is it the final cruelty? I look at her sometimes, sleeping or eating or staring out at the stars with that wonder she never loses. And I think, I have stolen your life. I have made you a vessel for my species' desperation. I have taken your body, your future, your very understanding of reality, and I have twisted all of it to serve my purposes. And you will thank me for it until the day you die. The aliens who destroyed us, did they feel this way? Did they look at humanity, at our cities and our art and our desperate striving toward the stars, and feel any flicker of guilt? Any recognition that they were ending something that had meaning, that deserved to exist, that had as much right to the universe as they did? I don't think they did. I think they looked at us the way I looked at Claire's family, as a problem to be solved, a resource to be used, a means to an end. And I think that is the difference. The guilt, the weight, the endless, unanswerable question of whether what I've done can ever be justified. They did not ask that question. I cannot stop asking it. Perhaps that is what makes us human. Not our technology, not our intelligence, not our capacity for creation or destruction, but our ability to know we have done wrong even as we do it. Our ability to carry the weight of our choices, to feel the cost, to understand that some means corrupt all ends. Or perhaps that is just what I tell myself to feel different from them. Perhaps we are all the same in the end. Gods and monsters and humans and aliens. All of us using each other, consuming each other, justifying our cruelty with our need. Claire will wake soon. She will ask me about the child. She will want to know what to expect, how to prepare, what kind of mother she should be. I will tell her what she needs to hear. I will play my part in this theater of salvation, and I will carry this weight, this question, this doubt, this guilt, for whatever remains of my life. The ends justify the means. Do they? God forgive me, whoever's God that might be. End log.